All right, what's up, guys? We got the 585 Boys Podcast here again today. So this week is Nurses Week. So showing our appreciation to all our nurses out there. So today we have a special little episode. We got Johnny here. What's up, Johnny?
What's going on, everybody?
And then we brought a special guest, very special to Johnny, his wife, Sarah.
Hello.
What's up?
Uh-oh.
We got Sarah. So she's a nurse, and so we wanted to bring her on, and we're going to kind of go through her nursing, how she got there, kind of hear her story, how she got to where she is, and it should be a good little show. So, Sarah, I'm gonna let you take the mic away, and why don't you start and kind of tell us, what led you to your nursing? What made you decide
on nursing?
Yeah, your history going up to that kind of.
Gotcha. So, I always wanted to work with all the little babies. That was always my plan, even when I was younger, always playing with all the kids and babysitting and everything. So, I always knew I wanted to do something with kids. And then, just hearing about all the job security and, the money you could make. And that's kind of what led me to nursing, I guess.
That's what made you decide that's...
Specifically, yeah, in like pediatrics or the NICU or labor and delivery. And that was what I...
When did you decide?
I was in high school.
Okay.
I did some like shadowing programs and stuff like that in high school. And I really liked it and just kind of took it from there.
You said shadowing programs? Mm-hmm. Like, what, you go to hospitals and stuff?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, yeah. So when you make that decision, like that's where you wanted to go. Do you go to college and go, okay, I'm gonna do like liberal arts or something to get out of the way first, and then
so you have
is there a major for it?
Yep. So you can get, obviously your two-year degrees, your associates. You still have to take kind of like your basic like science courses and things like that. And then for your 4-year degree, you do all your liberal arts classes and that sort of thing.
Okay, so so you graduated from Brockport with all of us, and then where'd you go from there?
So I graduated in 2012 from SUNY Brockport, and so after that I started working at the pediatric office, like a primary care office.
Okay, sure. How was the schooling? What was that experience like?
It's intense. It's not like any other, program. I don't think. Obviously I don't have much experience in other programs, but just the stress I think is a lot different. I went through a lot of, anxiety, and which I never really had before. Like in high school, I never had that much anxiety, but then nursing school was definitely high anxiety, a lot of pressure. It's because it feels like, if you, do bad on one exam, if you do bad on one, clinical, you'll be kicked out and you're done. And that's obviously very nerve-wracking.
Ton of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely not a lot of room for error.
No. And I remember you always coming home and telling me that, when you were at your clinicals, especially some of the nurses that were watching you, the teachers or whatever, would come up to you on the spot and like ask you a question.
Oh yeah, and you'd have to know it right off the top,
right?
Or they're pretty nice. They want you to just learn and
they want you to know what you're doing, why you're doing certain things.
Exactly.
And, yeah.
But it's definitely that pressure that is very nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
So what obstacles did you hit with that? It's got to be tough. Dominic's.
Yes.
You must have had him pretty much around that
so
time.
As I was doing those liberal arts classes and that sort of thing, you apply to the program. You got to apply, the year before, and I actually got waitlisted to be in the program.
I thought you were going to say wasted.
Yeah.
There was a lot of getting wasted in college.
Yeah.
So that's
good.
Too.
Yeah.
But I got waitlisted for the program, and then a few months after getting that waitlisted letter, we found out that we were pregnant, and it was kind of like
Johnny, you and Johnny?
Me and Johnny.
That's correct. Yes. Yep.
He is yours.
Yep. Yep.
So it was kind of one of those things like maybe this is a sign or, I don't know, something like that. And then over the summer, it was actually towards the end of the summer, probably the beginning of August, I got my letter saying that I got bumped up and I'm in the program now. So I show up at the end of August to our orientation and I'm like 8 months pregnant with this huge belly,
Sheesh.
walking in with all these other kids, and they're probably looking at me like, "Oh, what's she doing here?" But yeah, so it was definitely pretty stressful and had a lot going on. But I mean, between our families, both our parents, and their support, like wouldn't have been able to finish it
No, we wouldn't have been
without our families
in
and
this situation without them. So they helped us out a ton.
yeah.
So with that said, was there any point where you're like, I don't think I can finish this? I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish it?
I don't know if I ever had that sort of feeling, but definitely if I did, not so great on a test, not as well as I, would have wanted, I, would definitely break down like, oh my God, I'm going to fail. I'm going to, drop out of college and I'm going to be homeless. All those are crazy thoughts running through my mind. But yeah, so I kind of go through it. And once I kind of started talking to my doctor about my anxiety, I mean, it was so bad that I dropped so much weight. I was like 90 pounds. It was disgusting. And I was crying for no reason, just, breaking down at the slightest little things. So once, I kind of talked to my doctor and, got on, the right meds and everything, that definitely helped.
Mm-hmm.
It turned right around.
Good.
So obviously, once you are on the wait list and you get accepted, there is no, you can't say, can I take a semester off because of this? And
No,
you're back
not at
in?
Brockport. So Brockport, you start in the fall.
Yep.
But there are other schools I was considering because they do start in January in the spring semester. So I was thinking about that. I was like, well, maybe I'll just take the fall semester off and go to this school. And I got accepted to a couple other nursing programs. But ideally, I wanted to be at Brockport, just starting sooner. And obviously, the cost of Brockport is better than compared to some of the other schools. So yeah, we just kind of dove right in and I just kind of went for it, and yeah, with everybody's help, we got it done.
So how many total years of schooling did you have to go through?
So the nursing program itself is 2 years, but to get your full 4-year degree, there's the 2 years before all your prereqs and all that you got to take first. So it's a total of 4.
Now, does that go in like? So I know there's different titles for nurses, LPNs. What is it? RN,
yep.
all those.
And then your master's.
So did you have to go from like be an LPN first and then finish whatever that is?
No, so it's a different
It's just a
program.
straight RN program.
Exactly. Yep. So this was just going straight into their nursing program at that school. And there's other programs to get your LPN. And you can go into the nursing program that way without doing, I think, some of the other classes. I'm not sure exactly how that all works, but yeah, no, this was straight into RN.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because everyone knows someone who's some different title of nurse.
Yeah.
So that's just
They got all those letters after, before their name, all that stuff.
Right.
I don't have any
Right.
before,
Stuff like
just
that,
after.
yeah.
So I
Not that
guess
fancy.
I'm kind of stupid to how
Yeah,
that
yeah,
whole
I mean,
process
yeah.
goes. So all right, so you got your first job in pediatrics.
Yep.
How was that? How was your experience there?
I always loved it. Like I said, that was my goal. I wanted to work with kids, and going into the primary care was obviously the best situation for us. Instead of going into the hospital, all the crazy hours and stuff like that with a baby. So that really helped. Just having that like Monday through Friday kind of schedule was really nice.
Right.
But I loved it. Yeah.
Sure.
Well, let's skip back a little bit and tell the story of when
Oh.
Dominic was born.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What was going on during that?
So when,
Yeah.
yeah, classes started in September when I was very pregnant. And then, let's see, he came early. He was about a month early. So this was unexpected. And my water broke one morning, but I didn't feel any contractions. I wasn't in any pain or, labor pains or anything like that. And I had a class that morning. This was a Friday morning. I'm like, well, I'll just, go to my class.
Wait, your water broke
Yeah.
before you went to class?
Yeah.
Okay.
That morning. I'm getting ready for
Okay.
class. My water broke as I'm getting ready, for class. And, I didn't feel anything. So I just decided, I'll just go to class, even if it's just for a couple hours. And it's a 4-hour lecture. So after about 2 hours, they kind of give you a break. And I, go to my professor and I'm like, my water broke this morning. I think I'm going to go to my doctor now. And she's like, yes, please do. So, went, to my doctor and, they did the test to, verify that this was my water breaking. And so, they sent me to the hospital, had him Saturday morning, and then I went back to class on Tuesday.
Wow.
And probably would have gone Monday, but since he was a preemie, they made us stay the full 3 days.
Missed 1 day of classes.
That is insane.
1 day.
That is. I mean, I still can't get over your water breaks, and you go, oh, I still got to get to class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
Yep.
would have been like, all right, good excuse not to go.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll mop this up and get to the hospital.
Yep.
Write down dedication on my resume.
Yeah,
Yep.
right. That's pretty
Yep.
funny. So, obviously, since I have the pleasure of knowing you guys so long, what was your deal during? Didn't you have some special plans during?
Yes, he did.
Well, I did. Since Dominic wasn't supposed to be born until October, I was going to the Eminem and Jay-Z concert in
Epic.
Yankee Stadium
Pretty epic.
with one of my buddies out there, and we were leaving that morning. They were going to class, and I got up, started to pack, got a phone call from Sarah. So I'm like, okay, she's probably just saying goodbye and have fun and, all that stuff. And as soon as she answered the phone, or as soon as I answered the phone, and she said the first, hey, Johnny, how you doing? Or, she said something like that, but her tone, I'm like,
Oh, God.
all right, something's going on here.
What you doing?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was. What you doing? I'm like, I'm just packing, getting ready. I'll probably leave in about an hour, Yeah, well, you might want to pack the hospital bag.
I'm like, well, good thing you're packing, but it's going to
Yeah,
be a
it's
hospital
gonna be a
bag
different
instead
bag.
of a
And I'm
New
like,
York City bag.
What are you talking? Because I wasn't even, I
Right.
don't know. It's our first kid. I figured there's no way, right now. But yeah, it was real deal. So
And luckily, we had Jordan as our chauffeur
Yes,
to drive
Jordan-
us
Jordan
to the
did drive
hospital.
us.
That was good.
that was, I had to call my buddy up and say, hey, I'm not coming. So yeah, that happened. But that's.
And Jordan was his very first babysitter.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were in the
Yeah.
hospital. We had to do that little, educational video for like shaken baby syndrome and all that. And Jordan was in the room. We're like, hey, you want to just hang out with him? We'll be back in an hour.
Yep.
He was Dominic's
Very first
babysitter.
Pretty cool.
Man.
Yeah. That's.
And this is a little off topic, but for everybody that's, might be pregnant right now and the dads or the moms might be filling out like a birth plan or whatever that is,
Yeah.
that what you want to do at the hospital.
Yeah.
What you're going to want to do is take that piece of paper,
Throw it away.
crumple it up, throw it in the garbage.
It's like everyone
they
has
didn't
a
follow
plan.
anything
because
on our birth plan.
I'm telling you right now, I filled that thing out
Yeah.
and I delivered that baby.
Okay.
All right?
Johnny is a
I
doctor.
delivered that baby.
He cut the cord.
And I cut the cord.
No, you just cut the cord.
No, I was there. I caught him.
Okay.
He shot out like that.
Shot out.
huh?
I caught him. I cradled him,
Like a football.
and I
Swaddled him?
Yeah, swaddled him. I basically did it all there.
He said,
But
hike.
How is that cutting the umbilical cord?
it's like a rubber band. It's not. Yeah.
But he didn't want to do it. He's like, I don't do good
That was
with
one of the
blood.
things on the.
I will faint. I don't want to do it. And they're
just-
like, Johnny, you have to do
I
it.
even said I wanted to be up with her near her head, like holding
Right.
her hand and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I was
Oof.
down at the other end holding
Sure.
her leg.
Sure.
So basically, what
Sheesh.
people need to know is I delivered a baby.
Because he held a leg and,
So,
cut a cord.
It was
Wow.
It was
Yeah.
traumatizing, but I got
see
through
how
it.
that
Yes, I could see how this was a
I
terrible
I
experience
really
for you.
got through it, and I feel good about it.
He
you know?
asked the doctor
Oof.
for pain medication for his hand because I was squeezing his hand too hard.
Yeah,
Like, can I get an epidural?
Right. Yeah.
she didn't give me any.
No?
No,
Shocking.
no. It was rough.
Shocking.
It was a tough day for me.
The first night, he didn't realize that the chair pulls out into
Yeah,
a bed.
that one I was a
So
little
you
bit
slept
angry
upright
about.
in a
He
chair?
slept
Yeah,
upright in
and
a
then
chair.
when I woke up in the morning, they had the nerve to come over to me while I was on it and like
Push it
push
back.
it down.
She's like, oh, this folds out into
I'm
the
like,
bed.
That simple.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks
you.
now that I'm done with that. Now that I got a shitty night's sleep.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right.
Yeah.
So you went. So you say that again, just so I get that. You had him on a.
Saturday morning, September 11th.
Yep.
Saturday morning, we stayed, the 3 days, and then I was back in school on Tuesday. I had class on Tuesday. Yeah.
Jesus. Can
We had
you
to
even
stay-
walk after that?
Apparently.
Luckily, everything went so smooth. Like, we were both very healthy, no complications. He was, out
He was
in-
just a preemie, so we had to stay.
just because
Right.
he
For
a
was
few
a
days.
month
Just to
early.
monitor. Yeah,
Yeah.
make sure everything was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus. All right. So so you went back to school, finished that up. So there's no hiccups. You only missed
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah.
Jesus. Because that was going to be my next question. How does that affect your classes if you missed? But
I will tell you that first day she came back home, we were staying at your parents' house at this time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I stayed with the baby, I think me and Jerry. And as soon as she came home, ran in the house and just took Dominic from me.
I
Didn't
just
even
grabbed
say
him
anything,
and-
just said, "Give me my baby."
oh wow.
And she was like,
yeah.
bawling, like,
I mean, I don't know if I
So
was.
there's
"Oh, you were bawling."
I was
and you were-
tearing, maybe a little misty eyed.
Yeah, you were. Just, give me my baby, and I don't think you let go of him all night.
Yeah,
I
no,
know
no.
that's got to be crazy because a lot of moms can't be away from them at
Well, a
all,
lot of
let
moms-
alone right away.
A
You
lot
have
of
to
moms
go back.
get
Yeah.
that, whatever,
Separate.
3 months, 6 months with the baby.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
get to stay home, so they're not
Right.
So yeah, I
ever
had
away.
no,
So you had to
maternity
go.
This
leave.
was-
Yeah, you had to be in class
I mean,
every day still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Jesus.
No maternity leave.
How hard was that to know every day?
I mean, it was
being in
rough,
class?
but I mean, I kind of knew that was coming.
Right.
I kind of had that
it was going to work out
preparation
that way.
maybe take a day or. I mean, obviously, we didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but and the teachers and the professors were so nice and so accommodating. They were like, we can send you work to do, at the hospital or at home, or
Right.
we don't want you to worry about that. Do what you got to do, and we'll figure it out when it happens and when you come back. And
didn't they
They were
tell you to
awesome.
bring the baby in?
yeah, so we
I'm
have.
sure there's moms that do.
Yeah.
We have a
You gotta do what
little
you gotta do.
lab, where
Right.
where we learn kind of more hands-on, out of the lectures. And one of the professors was like, "Oh, just bring the baby in. It's
Wow.
fine. Like he sleeps anyway. Just keep." So,
Jesus. So was
They
it?
were
I mean, so was it hard to focus at all during the day, or were you pretty solid?
no,
Were you
I felt like I was okay. As far as the focusing, I knew he was home with Johnny.
Right,
And
yeah.
Johnny's awesome with him, and I think maybe if I had to leave him with like a stranger or something, that would have been a little more nerve-wracking.
right.
But yeah, no, I mean, I felt fine. Him
Pretty good. You
home with
knew
his
you
dad.
could. Yeah,
Yeah.
you knew you could get your stuff done during the day, and he was going to be there.
Yep, we had awesome support too, so that was awesome.
So, where? So I know you're not at. You left the
Genesis, yep.
pediatrics place, and so what do you? Where are you now?
So about 2 years ago, I started working actually at home before COVID and everything, just with the kids and trying to keep up with babysitters, getting home for their sporting events and everything like that. So I found this company, and it's basically just after hours when the office is closed, they can contact an on-call nurse. And that's what I've been doing the past 2 years, and I actually really love it. I still do per diem at the office, just to, get out of the house too, when you're working at home. But I still love working there and working with all the nurses and doctors there, so couldn't leave them for too long.
Yeah. So what's your job like now? What?
So I work overnight. So I work 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And basically just, take calls. It's all pediatrics still. So it's the parents that I talk to about their kids, newborn up until early 20s. And it's kind of just, they're sick, they have a fever, injuries and things like that, and kind of determine, like, okay, can you kind of treat them at home, maybe just give them some Tylenol for their fever and talk to your doctor tomorrow, or, you should you should go to the ER.
Right.
Kind
right.
of that determination. It's the triaging, the phone triage.
Okay. So I guess my next thing. Well, first to kind of lead into that, I told my sister I'd give her a shout out. She's a nurse.
Hey, Janae.
They got what up, Nay?
Hey.
So I'm gonna kind of use her to lead into it because I have an idea of her life. She's a nurse. She works her stuff. She goes to school, all that, and then they also have kids too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot. I'm like, I don't know how people do it. And then like you got to work. You work your overnights. You work your 10 to 6 overnight when everyone's sleeping. And then, especially with COVID,
yeah.
kids not going to school. You guys have 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
How was the stress of that? Like, how is dealing with working and then?
I mean, this year's been rough. So last year, the kids still went to their, their babysitters, during the day, and then over the summer and some of the spring, your dad was watching the kids.
Yep.
Your parents. But then obviously back to school has been crazy because we're trying to homeschool during the day. I work at night, so trying to just kind of sleep where I can and cat nap here and there. But yeah, now that the kids are getting a little older, they're usually pretty good. I mean, Dominic, he's 10 now, and he, does all his work. I don't even have to tell him to go do his meetings. He just does it. And then our youngest, Lucia, she is 5. So she's a little bit more of a handful, trying to get her to do her homework and keep her occupied while I try to, take a nap if I can.
Right. Try to squeeze the little cat naps. Never get those full rests in, and because Johnny's he's waking up probably when you're going to bed.
So we cross paths in the morning.
And you're on call every other weekend, every 3 weeks,
Every third week.
every third week,
Yeah.
and then you work like crazy too. Every Saturday you work.
Yeah,
6
pretty
days
much.
a week, yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
like,
just this year's. We got to get past this year. This is going to be the tough one. Hopefully next year they go full time.
yeah,
That'll be way easier.
that's the thing.
Sarah can sleep.
It's gonna make you almost think like if we didn't hit COVID, that made things so much harder. So if we never hit COVID, things are already, you're tired.
Yeah.
It's hard, but I feel like now going back to quote unquote normal life, maybe it'll make things seem a little easier.
Yeah. And this would have been Lulu's first full year.
Right,
like
because she started kindergarten this year. We were so looking
full-time.
forward to that.
Oh,
we were
yeah.
like, oh, she'll be in school
So
full
You didn't
day.
get
And
that experience.
Nope.
yeah, Sarah obviously takes the brunt of it, but
Everyone's got to do what they got to do.
yeah,
It's crazy.
I really don't have another choice.
Right? Yeah. You guys just make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. So what? Now, the job you're doing now, it's got to be pretty ideal getting to work from home in that sense. Do you have any? I don't know. Once you're a nurse, I feel like that's a great job to have. It's a great position to be in. Is there any other goals beyond what you're doing now, or is this this is? I mean,
I'm
you
pretty
work from
happy
home,
doing. I
it's
know
great.
this is pretty nice. There's no commute time. We're not paying for daycare right now because the kids can be home.
Right. Which daycare is like another mortgage.
Yeah, which, like I said, has always been hard trying to, find new sitters if, one moves away or, that sort of thing. So that's nice. So I'm actually really liking it right now. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, if this is something I'll do, forever. But for right now, I'm actually really liking it. Yeah. So.
That's great. That is awesome. So I guess kind of back to when you decided you wanted to do nursing. Like me, it takes a special person to be a nurse. Me, knowing right off the bat, I'm like, I don't want to touch blood, other people's blood. I don't want to wipe butts or inject IVs or whatever, all
Yep.
that stuff. So how was that for you? I mean, do you naturally just have that?
Yeah, I guess that kind of stuff obviously doesn't bother me. There's, I guess, some things that, I guess every nurse probably has their thing. They're like, I won't do that. For me, I think during school, I was on a pulmonary unit, and it's you have to suction out their tracheas and all the sputum and the mucus. I think that it was worse than any blood or poop or anything.
Jeez.
It's just that smell from the trachea, and it just I was like, nope, this isn't for me.
So is that I guess, is that like the worst thing that for you that you wouldn't do, or is there other stuff that you're just like, no way?
I mean, I don't have that hospital experience. I've never, worked in an ER, so I can't say,
Right.
If there's any, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd have to be in that position, but I mean, like the blood and that sort of stuff doesn't really gross me out.
That's pretty crazy. What's like the grossest thing you've had to deal with? The trachea, what is it?
Yeah, and the trachea, like that suctioning, all that mucus and everything. And one thing, just actually saw this online, and everyone's like, "Ew, this actually happens." Is when the impacted cerumen, we remove that a lot at work.
The what?
Impacted earwax.
Okay.
The cerumen.
Okay.
So for some reason, I don't know why, but all these like teenagers and young kids, they don't clean their ears right or something, but you're not supposed to use Q-tips.
Right.
Because the Q-tips will, jam that earwax down into your ear. So
Sure.
it kind of builds up. And then the kids come in with like ear pain and they can't hear out of this ear. So we, flush it out and, we scoop out some nasty things out of people's ears.
Oh, I bet.
And it turns like black, because it gets all dirty. So they're like these black little like balls. And I remember one time, this was at the other office. There was a little girl. This was one of my nursing friends was doing this, and she said, the little girl kept saying like, it feels like I got bugs in my ear, and she scooped it out, and sure enough, there were like little ants on the little
oh God,
on her little scooper, and ugh.
That I guess, I mean, I don't remember it, but I guess that happened to me when I was a kid.
You had ants in your ear?
No, but. I guess my mom and dad told me that for a while I smelled like when they were close to my face.
Well, you still smell.
Like yeah, but I mean that's just me. But this was, I guess, standout pungent, and when they were like close to my face, and they're like, "What is going on?" Whatever, took me to the doctor. I guess I had food lodged in my ear or my nose, one of those. My nose or my ear, I had a piece of...
So you had, like, rotting food.
Yeah. That's, I mean, my mom would be able to clarify that one, but that's the only story I remember them telling me about gross things being in orifices.
Yeah, I mean, we don't get
Guess it could be worse.
Too many gross things. Get some, weird things, speaking of orifices.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Look at Johnny and say that.
Wow.
Kids like to put things in weird places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of weird things, what's like, I don't know, can you talk about like one of your weirdest stories?
Weirdest? Well, there was around Halloween time, those like witch fingers that you put on over your fingers, and they have like, they're green with like the nails. Some of them got stuck up in some rectums.
Wow.
In some rectums.
Okay, well, there was maybe one in a rectum. That was a weird one.
How's that
gonna
happen?
say,
Like trying to wipe?
I don't know.
and you
Ooh,
just
yeah.
maybe because it's happened to me, a finger pops through the tissue paper, the toilet paper, and
Yeah,
maybe it got
I think
stuck.
that's happened.
How do you wipe straight
That's
up?
happened to everybody.
No, you swipe, but so
So it should get stuck in your butt crack, not in your rectum.
right, yeah, that's true.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just wipe with such force.
Right. Right.
I don't.
You got to get it.
Yeah.
You know.
No one wants an
Getting
itchy
pretty
butt.
personal.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I ain't never been about that.
No.
Let's see, hair barrettes and vaginas.
What? For what though?
Obviously, your typical Lego piece up the nose, all that type stuff.
That would hurt. That's Lego pieces are pretty big, unless
Some of them are little.
Yeah, those little like one piece or
one
two piece.
one peggers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
you. I got you.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that could get pretty fishy.
I mean, I'm sure ER has a lot more weird stories, but at the office, not too much.
Yeah. So, how about? I mean, what about like pros and cons? So, like, what are things that you like about the career that you chose, and maybe
I like the
some things
flexibility.
you
I mean,
don't?
I never knew going into it how many different options. I never thought that I could work from home, that this was even, a choice that I had. And I guess the best thing is obviously the people. I love all the nurses and doctors that I work with, and I don't know if there's any cons. I mean,
That's great.
yeah,
I mean,
I love it.
yeah. I mean, if you can say that, then you've really found something you love to
and
do.
it's just finding the area that you love too. I mean, there might be, if you're working on a floor that you hate, obviously you're not going to enjoy it. So it's just finding what you love to do, and like I said, there's so many different things that you could go into. You just got to find which one you like.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's pretty awesome. Not everyone can say that.
I don't know if you already asked this specific question, but would you ever go outside of pediatrics?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No.
No, I like working with the babies and the young kids.
Yeah.
I say babies, but we go up to like the 20-somethings. So.
Would you ever work in like the NICU or the PICU or something like that?
Yeah. So in my
I know you've done
rotation, I would say if I had to work like at the hospital, the NICU would be my first option for sure.
See, that's
That was my
something I just wouldn't be able to do. I mean, pretty much everything you guys do, I wouldn't be able to do, but that for sure I couldn't. I know it's obviously rewarding,
Right.
Oh yeah, but it's definitely sad.
but I just can't.
Yeah. So I kind of have a follow-up question with that then, especially having your own kids. Is there ever instances you come across that like really weigh on you because you have your own kids? Maybe
yeah.
like is there
like
stress that you bring home or after your shift of things you see?
we've had cases, abuse cases, where we kind of have to, we report it and it's kind of left in somebody else's hands. But, certain things, I don't want to say too much, but we had one case where this little girl, maybe 6 or 7, kept coming in for like maybe a UTI or something, and she ended up having gonorrhea.
Wow.
And we're like, okay, you don't just get
Right.
gonorrhea, like what's going
Right.
on? So, it got reported and everything, but because, they don't know who the offender is, there's nothing they could really do. You can't take away this kid from her mother or, whoever, if we don't,
Right.
So there was, a couple cases like that, are hard. If kids come in, some, physical abuse, stuff like that, it's definitely hard to see. So, yeah. I mean.
So it's got its good days and bad days.
Yeah, and I mean, be kind of crazy if we didn't talk about COVID. How did that affect your job specifically?
So, I mean, like I said, working from home, that hasn't affected that job at all, obviously. We definitely got more busy because
Right.
people couldn't, go
Right.
into their offices like, they usually do. So we were definitely getting more calls and, dealing with that. And obviously people are panicking and kind of, going a little crazy, oh, we have, she sneezed once. We got to go to the ER. Okay, well, let's figure out what's going on. And it's the office, I didn't go in for like 6 months, at the
Right,
office
yeah.
because, we couldn't really see patients as much. But other than that, I mean, yeah, luckily I wasn't out of a job,
Right.
you know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I could see how that, I'm sure you had to pick up some extra hours and stuff like that
Oh, yeah,
for
picking up a lot of extra hours.
for
and-
normal office people that couldn't go in and they couldn't bring their kids in to see.
Yeah,
So-
and it's, yeah.
On top of already having to work crazy hours,
Yeah.
How did you find yourself adjusting from that, going from, being in the office at normal hours to having to transition into overnights now?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a change. I mean, I've always kind of been more of like a night person anyway, so staying up late at night, I mean, that's not a problem.
I totally agree with that. Definitely not a morning person here.
Not a morning
Yeah.
person. No. So that part was fine. But like I said, it's when you're home, working from home all the time, you definitely miss seeing people. And I'd have to just get out of the house and even just to, okay, I'm going to go grocery shopping again.
Right, or go to Lowe's, right?
Or Lowe's.
A
Yeah.
lot of shopping going
Yeah.
on in this house. A lot of shopping. There's always a package waiting when I get home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that was a killer for a lot of people during,
Oh, yeah.
especially during COVID. That buy it now button on Amazon, it's just hit that
Too
click and it's
convenient.
gone.
Too tempting.
Yeah, it's there.
I was
on
thinking
the
about-
doorstep.
Having them shut off our electricity and our internet.
So she
So
can't
I
go
can't
on.
do
Every
any
day I
online
leave,
shopping.
but
Yeah.
I decided against it.
Unfortunately, you'd have to take away the cell phone too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
Yeah. Total lockdown.
Which, no, because she's never near it. So,
That's true.
Yeah, I don't even know where my phone is right now.
yeah, never.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, well, I guess then people should know that that's not what they're calling you in on. So
Correct. So don't try calling that number again because you won't get me.
Right. Damn. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. What is like your guys' relationship with like the doctors and stuff? I know you haven't been in a
always-
hospital, but
Right. Yeah, and it's different everywhere you go. But my experience is it's always been a team. We're a team. It's not. There's no hierarchy or, we all work together as a really, really good team. And I mean, we hang out with our kid's pediatrician. Like we go out together.
Yeah.
We hang out. Like we have that. Kind of relationship. So. She's awesome. I'll text her, hey, this is going on, what should I do?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think most of the doctors, actually, I think all the doctors that I've ever worked with have been, they're all really nice and we all get along pretty well.
the crazy part is like when you hear people talk about, whatever medical story they have, they had to go to the doctor, they had to go to the hospital. They always mention how the nurses were.
Right. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Doctor, not as much. Like I don't know.
Well,
You kind of know what you're going to get out of a doctor, I
Right.
guess. But they always bring up the nurses, whether good or bad, But it's crazy to me because it's like
Well, the nurses are the ones doing most of the procedures.
That's
right.
what I was going
But,
to ask.
So
they're
it's like
you guys are like what everybody sees, and you make the visit.
It's the
Like
first
if
impression.
yeah.
they liked that nurse, then they're like, yeah, it
was
really
a good
wasn't that
visit.
bad.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
we went in and the nurse was awesome,
Right.
but everybody has their bad days.
Right.
And
that's good to hear that.
Yeah,
Get
no,
that
every time,
consensus.
like,
Well, that's
I'm
what
just
I was
sitting here
gonna
thinking about
ask.
it, and
I was gonna ask, like, I don't want to sound ignorant to it or anything, or like anyone to take offense to it, but in my head, the way I picture it is, and I want to hear your guys' feedback, is like kind of what you're saying. The doctor, I feel like, is in and out.
right,
The nurse,
right,
I feel like gets the brunt of the work, of the load, and then the doctor's taking that information and making whatever decision come in. Because every time I'm giving the information to
Yes.
the nurse, the
Yes.
doctor goes, "Oh, I see this. Okay, here's that. See you later."
yes,
You know,
yeah.
so
And even like when I go to like my doctor visits, and I'm not saying doctors don't do anything, so don't think like that.
Right.
But like the nurse, takes my weight, takes my blood pressure, takes my oxygen level, asks me questions, does all that stuff. Then the doctor comes in and just repeats it to me, and then asks me how I'm doing, and then spits out some numbers on
Yeah.
a blood test.
right,
But I'm like, okay, that's cool, which I'm fine with because I
Right.
want to get in and out too.
right.
But like, the nurse is making that go.
It's more personal with the
Yeah,
nurse.
yeah.
And then,
It's like and they'll have a conversation with me too.
Mhm.
How you doing? You have to go back to work, or you just getting out? All that stuff. And I mean,
Well, you don't see a pediatrician. I think, obviously the pediatricians are much better.
right? No, I'm not talking bad about doctors. I'm just saying like that's how much nurses affect.
the process.
Doctors know what they're there for. You know what I'm saying? They have a job to do, and they're there to do it. But the nurses not only have to do that, but you have to be like not like a host almost, like
Yeah.
how
You don't
doing?
know who's
like
walking in with
personable.
what
yes,
issue.
yes.
And
Like
you
a
gotta-
doctor can just be monotone, like
Right.
this is what's happening. This,
Right.
because everybody knows what you're. It's something. Not all of them are, but
Right.
you can get away with it.
Right.
Nurses. I mean, you can be, but you're not going to be very good at
Or
it,
that
and it's not going to be
compassion
enjoyable for you. But I don't know. It's such a better experience when you get a nurse that's nice,
Right.
compassionate,
Right.
and actually you can tell they care.
Right.
They're not just trying to,
And it's
get
like-
you in and out, or you're like a burden.
Yeah.
You know
It's
what I'm
like,
saying?
what if you get just a horrible person coming in? It's kind of on you to like de-escalate that, and like
Right.
it's it's
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Oh, speaking of, we
Boom.
had that violent parent at the office one
Yeah.
time. So
I remember getting that phone call.
this was scary,
Or a
actually.
text.
I don't know if I ever actually told you, Jordan.
It was a while ago.
So this was at the pediatric office. The nurse goes out and calls back the patient. It's a little baby, and I see the parents. They're sitting in the waiting room, and you could kind of tell that they're arguing. And so usually if people are kind of having their conversation, by the time they get to you, they kind of put it aside, and but they didn't. They were still arguing. Started to bring him back, and he's swearing at her, bitch, I'll fucking kill you, blah, blah, all this
Wow.
stuff, you fucking cunt, blah. And I'm like, sir, we got kids here, we can't really have that language, I'm sorry,
Right.
before we go any further, I'm gonna have to ask you, to watch the language.
Right.
But he didn't stop. Like, he was going off on the mother, I don't know if it's his girlfriend, wife, or whatever, still, like, threatening, like, he's going to fucking kill her and all this stuff. And so I looked at my front, the secretary at the front desk. She was looking at me because she knew what was going on. We have a panic button under the office desk there. And I looked
Right.
straight at her. I'm like, call the police. He's threatening to kill her. I'm like, I don't know what else
Right.
to do.
Yeah, of
like,
course.
he was getting violent. Right away, no hesitation. Boop, she hit that button. And, I think, and he knew what was going on. The next thing I know, he's going outside. He has the baby. The mother, I think, is, following him outside. Her mother, the grandmother, shows up, and she's like, oh, well, he just got out of prison for having, and he has knives, and I'm like, oh, what?
Jeez.
So I'm outside, and I'm like, okay, we'll just reschedule your appointment. It's not a big deal. You guys just go home, figure it. I'm just trying to keep him out of the building. That was my thought. Is I'm just like, keep him outside. cops are coming. Just, stay out of the I don't want anybody to get hurt inside.
Right.
I'm just thinking about the kids inside. So, he goes outside. The mom's following him outside. My office manager opens the door. She's like, Sarah, what are you doing? Get back in the building. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. Like, I don't know. So I get back inside. I just, finally, he gave the baby to the mother, and I take her back to the room just to kind of separate them, make sure her and the baby are safe back in the patient, exam room. And then I find out later, so my office manager went outside, one of our nurse practitioners is outside, and, he's, going off outside. He smashes a car window, and, he pushed the nurse practitioner, Rick. He pushed one of our nurse practitioners, and, because he tried to get back into the building, and he was blocking his way. He's like, no, I can't let you back in, and he, was, bumping him to try to get back inside, and it was just a nightmare. So finally the cops came, which felt like forever, but then when we timed it was like 5 minutes. All this happened in 5 minutes. It was
It's like
scary.
slow motion when it's happening.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's probably like 6 foot. I'm 5 foot. Like, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Please don't swear like that.
Hey, you don't know that's the thing. You don't know who's coming into your building.
And I mean, like I said, this is not like an ER. I know like there's a lot of violent, situations in the ER, but for a pediatric office, like this is something
you don't expect
we
that.
Yeah, we don't expect it. We don't deal with it on a daily basis, so it was kind of scary.
Damn. That's pretty
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. I remember getting that text. I think one of the nurses texted me after that happened and just said something like, your wife is crazy or your wife's an animal. Yeah. I'm like, what? Just out of nowhere.
Just taking on this
Kind of told me
giant-
what happened. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her.
That sounds like my wife.
Yep. That was definitely her.
That's funny. Jesus.
I wonder whose car window he smashed.
I'd be pissed.
It wasn't ours, so.
Yeah, it wasn't mine.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I don't know. I guess, thank you for the work you do.
Yeah.
And I know, for everyone that listens to this, there's nurses in all fields, deal with all different, craziness, but, just in general, nurses really do their thing. I think everyone should definitely show their appreciation and also realize that whatever they have to deal with every day going in, being a nurse, we want to show that there's life outside of that they have to
Yeah.
deal with as well.
Yes.
So
Yep.
And especially all those nurses on the COVID floors and in the ICUs and everything, because, I mean, that is another level. I couldn't even imagine, doing what they do every day.
yeah,
Being away
Well-
from their families.
Yeah. Bottom line is, no matter what, it's probably the most selfless job there is.
yeah,
It's definitely something I would never be able to do. I just wouldn't. And it actually amazes me,
yeah.
some of the things you guys do on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, everybody has, should say thank you.
Yeah.
Because everybody's had either been in the hospital or the doctor's office, or had a family member, and nurses are probably the first person they see.
Front line.
They see them all day. Those are the people they see, and those are the people that make sure that everything's okay. And
Yep. They're the
We'd,
first ones to head into the chaos.
Front line.
yeah, front
Yeah.
lines, and we wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for them.
Yeah.
And just thank you. And I don't think you guys get paid nearly enough. I know
That's
they
the
get
truth.
paid well, but I mean, nurses.
Yeah, some don't.
Yeah, some don't. I think they should get. I mean, I don't know a number, but it should be more.
Yeah.
I agree.
But no, seriously. Yeah.
This is
There's not-
a great week to show the appreciation, but definitely should
Yeah,
go all year round.
I know it's tough to say this because, usually when you're going into the hospital or even a doctor's office, it's not the best day.
Right.
and
You're already stressed and anxious.
you're already
and-
stressed, and something bad might be happening. But take it easy
Yep.
on the nurses, and everybody really, but and especially the nurses, because they're not only seeing your loved one or you,
Right.
they're seeing 15 others that are in just as bad shape or worse, and
And you got to think you're going in there because you had a bad day, whatever, for whatever reason, and you're looking to them for help, but they're the ones that got to help first, and they also could be having a bad day on top of
and
having
they
to
have
do
their
their
own
job.
kids and
So-
stuff to do, and they're humans.
They could be having just as bad of a
So-
day and still having to show up and
Just
and
like
do their
with
thing.
anything else, the biggest thing, especially in our society right now, be respectful. I mean, it's the least you can do. You
Yep.
know,
Absolutely.
I guarantee you, it's not the nurse's fault. Whatever's going on. So
Yeah. Right.
just take it easy,
Right.
and
Don't shoot the messenger.
You'll have a much better experience. And just thank you to all the nurses out there.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah, for coming
Yes,
on
absolutely.
and representing
Thank you for having
the
me.
nurses, of course. And we just wanted to show our appreciation and to everyone out there in all the fields of nursing. Doesn't matter what your title is. You guys are killing it.
Yes, sir.
All right. So that's it. And we're going to sign out here. Everybody stay happy, healthy, live your life.
Don't forget to subscribe. 585 Boys Podcast. YouTube. That's our main spot, right?
Yep. Get over there, subscribe, like our videos, leave some feedback.
Yes, sir. Yeah, leave some comments. We're gonna have some more shows coming up. We have a lot of different types
Yeah.
of experiences, stories, people, from different aspects of life.
Yep.
So give us your feedback. Give us some constructive criticism if you want.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Or ideas.
Yeah.
We'll take it all.
Yeah. We're trying to just talk to as many people as possible. And, obviously we're new and figuring things out as we go and just trying to have fun. And you can also you can go on YouTube, subscribe. If also we just got on Spotify, so you can go over there, find us there. Amazon Podcast and Stitcher.
Yep.
Yep, Stitcher, and soon we'll be on Apple Podcast.
Yeah.
Too.
And don't forget to tell your friends.
Yeah, tell
If you
your
like it,
friends.
you enjoy it, tell your friends.
Friends, family. We're gonna really just slowly expand everything and keep coming at you guys. So we appreciate all the love and support.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
All right, and thanks again to the nurses, and you guys have a good weekend.
See ya.
Peace.